One last topic that is it's a big one.
Okay.
But let's just scratch the surface a little bit, which is money, financial aid, how that should factor into where you choose to go. Somehow these colleges just become more and more expensive each year. I mean, we've got a number of schools topping $60,000, $70,000, if not more than that, each year. I think that's one that weighs big on a lot of families, but they don't necessarily always want to talk about it publicly.
The escalating cost of education is ridiculous. It is ridiculous, and it's not. I mean, I can tell you that the cost of education has gone up tremendously, and that most colleges are charging a tuition that is actually less than that they actually have to pay out per student in order to educate that kid, which that difference is made up from donations and alumni. But even so, for the average family to have to come up with $70,000 in just tuition, in some cases that doesn't even include room and board, that is undoable. Because a lot of us have worked to a place where we've got good careers, we make good money. We're not going to qualify for a lot of need-based financial aid because the cost of living is just so high that there's no way we would be able to support our families in the way that we could if we did make that low of income. So it just makes it really tough. So the key to this is just to make sure that you are doing a couple things. One, that you're shopping around. One of the things, a lot of colleges are going to be giving out merit scholarships, and it's important for you to know who they are and what they're doing.
And real quick, will you just tell us what a merit scholarship is versus a need-based scholarship?
Sure. So need-based scholarships is financial aid based solely on financial need. That is to say that you have that based on family's income and or assets, you are not making enough money in order to afford this at all. Now, need-based scholarships, it sounds like need because all of us like, well, I need scholarship.
Yeah.
So, but that's a federal formula that colleges will use to determine whether or not a family has financial need or not. And generally speaking, if you're making a six-figure salary, you're probably not going to get a lot. You still could get some, but you're probably not going to get a lot of need-based finance. So most families who are making in the six figures are going to be counting on merit scholarships. And what a merit scholarship is that's a scholarship that's given out based on either grades or talent or any number of different things that a college might. A football scholarship is a merit scholarship. A academic scholarship is a merit scholarship based on GPA. A violin scholarship is a merit scholarship based on talent. Some colleges have a lot of colleges have a blanket idea that says if you have a certain GPA and or a certain test score, then you will qualify for X amount of money in merit scholarships. Now, here's the key to that. If you're applying to one of the more uber selective colleges, you will not find very many merit scholarships, mainly because everyone who goes there has a big GPA and big test scores. So there's nothing special about you than the rest of their pool. However, at a lot of colleges, if money isn't you, the next tier down from that, they do offer merit scholarships because they want to promote their academic profile. They want to be more selective. They want to have a higher quality of student. They want students who are going to be in the classroom, who are going to set the tone that says this is the high level of thinking in this classroom and bring the students up to that level. So they want students who are going to be there to do that. In order to get them, if they can lower their tuition just a little bit by giving a tuition discount or a merit scholarship, then that would help that student choose them over maybe another. Now, one of the ways to find out, go to each college's websites, their financial aid websites. Usually those things are published, but even if they're not published, every college every college financial aid website has a financial need calculator where you can go in and put in your family situation, GPA, maybe income, whatever they're asking for, and they can give you a pretty good estimate of what you might get if that were admitted to the school. Now, if you are a family that should be applying for financial aid, and by the way, there is no income ceiling on determining who can get financial aid or not. When I was at Harvey Mudd, I have seen, rarely, but I have seen families with $200,000, $250,000 income qualify for need-based financial aid, basically because they have debts or something else behind that that offsets that to a place where it's like, we get it. You don't have lots of money, so we'll do that. Keep in mind that that consumer debt, your credit cards, things like that, that doesn't count. It would have to be something else. So maybe you have a business. I'll also tell you this, that if you are a family that thinks you won't qualify for need-based financial aid, but you choose to apply for need-based financial aid, it's actually not a bad idea to do, because I know when I was at Harvey Mudd, my director of financial aid used to say, look, this is a family with a $500,000 income. They've applied for need-based financial aid. I mean, they clearly feel like they need something. I can't give them much because their income, but I'm going to take a couple $1,000s off. Now, that might mean something to you, because for my financial aid budget, which is millions of dollars, give me a couple thousand, whatever, I'm fine with that. Just like you're applying for colleges, to make sure that you have a balanced list where there's some that are going to be really hard to get into and some that are going to be relatively safer for you to get into. You'd have to do the same thing for your financial aid. This is one that's going to be really hard to pay for, but because of their merit scholarship, this is one that we can certainly make sure we can afford. And if you can be happy at either one of those, let's see how it comes out. I still remember when I was a dean of admission at Harvey Mudd, and we hit the $50,000 mark, and I said, oh my gosh, nobody's going to pay this. Nobody's going to pay this. We're never going to get a class. Nobody's going to pay this. They did. And then it went to 60, and they did. And then it went to 70, and they did. Part of it is just that it seems to be, there seems to be no limit, which unfortunately, and I don't think colleges are gouging people. I mean, because like I said, it costs about $100,000 to educate a kid through Harvey Mudd today, and it's mostly they charge about 70, but it's still costing more than that. So it's just the reality of the situation that everything's expensive.
I think you make a really good point there, though, which is sometimes gets lost in the conversation, which is the amount of resources that an expensive college pours into each individual student.
The more high touch a school is, like yours was, like it was at Harvey Mudd, the more expensive that is. It's much, much cheaper to educate a kid and at the University of California, where you have this economy of scale, right? You put 5 kids in a classroom. Great. One teacher, 500 kids. Well, when you're trying to when you have a class where there's no class larger than 20, well, that's going to cost you,